Welcome to the Brave Podcast. I'm your host, Connie Jacob, and today I am very lucky to be sitting with someone I just admire so much. Her name is Jenna Galloway. She is the founder and CEO of the Fledge App. I absolutely adore Jenna because she cares so deeply about young people. Jenna, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Connie. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you. You're one of my favorite people and you always bring the energy. So very excited to be here.
Yes, well, and I'm so excited because you've always been a mover and a shaker for young people in mental health, but now you're launching something really exciting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, thank you for saying that. And likewise, you've been super instrumental in my journey in building and creating as well. And I take a lot of inspiration from you. So major gratitude and so glad that our paths crossed so many years ago. But Fledge is a platform that we're building, and we've actually released it to schools and families so that they can use it now. And it's designed to teach young children, kindergarten to grade 6, foundational mental health skills that will build their self confidence, their own personal competency, and give them a toolbox of skills that will help them to navigate the challenges of daily life. And so the platform is kind of like a game. We refer to it as Mindcraft for mental health. And we've really developed it in a way that children get to engage in their learning. So they're actually building their own environment. And then when they complete the activities, they get to add different elements to their world.
Wow. Okay, so I know that parents and teachers listening are already going, "Oh my goodness, this is what we've been needing." And that's what I thought when I first heard of what you're
Aw.
doing. And so
I hope
tell
so.
tell us a little bit about why is this something that you're doing? Because this is an incredible amount of work. I've watched you do a lot of the groundwork on this, and bringing something like this to fruition is no easy task. And so
Thank you.
what's your reason for doing this?
Thanks, Connie. Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. The first being when I met you the first time, we kind of exchanged stories about our own journeys, and you got to learn a little bit about my mental health challenges that I experienced when I was younger. So when I was in high school, transitioning to university, I really wanted to become a doctor and actually a pediatrician to work with children. But I was really struggling with my own mental health challenges, and I didn't have the tools and the skills that I needed to navigate those challenges. And so, being in a really high pressure environment in academia, it was just too much. And I had to step away from my studies. And it really forced me to reevaluate everything. And so it was a bit of a journey to learn what worked for me. And I met some incredible people. I got to practice things like yoga and mindfulness. And those were really core elements of my healing journey and personal development. But then I also got to connect with wonderful people like counselors and psychologists and doctors who also had great tools. And so, coming from a health sciences background and really valuing research backed and evidence based approaches to health, I wanted to try and come up with something or some way that I could share what I had learned with younger children. So, hopefully, their journey would be a little bit easier, or they would not encounter as um, hard of an event at that point in their life. So I built my first company, Wymbin, and that's been in operation for 7 years now. And through that company, we've got to interact with hundreds of families and teachers because we have programs on site, and then we also go out into schools. Um, and then when the pandemic hit, we kind of had to take a pause from our person to person services and really think differently about how we could still reach communities and share these tools and skills. And so it was a really key moment in thinking about a new solution, but also taking all of our learnings from the past 5, 6 years at that point and thinking, what's missing and where are the gaps that we've been seeing and that teachers, parents, and early intervention specialists have really been sharing with us um, that they were having challenges with or that they would like support in different areas. And so, yeah, out of that kind of tough patch of the pandemic and having to take a pause came this really beautiful idea of creating a technology that connects people. And so I know this is a very long story, but I think a lot of parents are concerned that putting children on technology and putting them in front of a screen, more screen time is going to be detrimental. And so we've really had to be thoughtful in thinking, how do we make this a technology that actually enhances how children live and interact with the world around them versus just put them in front of a screen and give them a solution? So, yeah, that's the long story behind it.
Well, and I love it. I love, there's a couple things obviously that I love about it. First of all, I love that it was birthed from a personal experience.
Thank you.
I love that you're taking something that you experienced and shifting it so that you can make a difference in others. And that's why I absolutely adore you, because you just are always thinking about how can you make the world a better place.
Oh, thanks, Connie.
And
I
I
think
also love that you are listening to people through Wymbin. I've had the privilege of being able to go into your facility and see and just watch how peaceful it is and how these moms, I actually watch them on the street when they're waiting for their kids to be done the program, and they're talking to each other, and you've created such an incredible community there. And
thank you.
I love that. And I just hope that anyone who's listening, if you haven't fit in a box somewhere, maybe, you're the same. You didn't make it through university, but look at Jenna is such an incredible example of she built a company. Like it literally blows me away. I pass by Wymbin
Thanks,
almost
Connie.
daily and I'm like, that girl, look at her. Look at her go. Look at her
You're
do
the
it.
best.
Like it just shows us that sometimes the path doesn't look the way it looks like for everyone else, and just to keep following your own path because you just never know what's going to happen.
Big time. I think that is so important and something that is a really key message for people growing up nowadays as well is, yeah, the path can look so different and so twisty and turny, but it can still be very wonderful. And so, yeah, I think I'm very lucky to have had that negative and traumatic experience quite early on in my life so that I could kind of untangle the pieces. And I often speak about how looking outside of myself has been the biggest healing part of the journey. And um, I don't know if this might resonate with people, but mental health it can be very isolating and you're continually fixated on your own thought processes and what's going on in your world. And it can get quite dark and very isolating. And so when you start to think about, oh, there are actually other people out there that might be experiencing this, and can I turn my thoughts outwards and maybe try and help them or connect with them? You almost get pulled out of that very isolating thought pattern and become a part of the world again, which that's really saved and made my life a very wonderful thing.
I love
Yeah.
that you've shared that. I think that's so true. And I love that you're doing that. And yeah, I couldn't say anything more about that. That was well said.
Thanks, Connie.
And for you, when you're thinking about doing, say, early elementary first, is
Mm,
there a reason why you are launching there?
absolutely. I think, yeah, it's really interesting because sometimes when we talk to people about why we're targeting kindergarten to grade 6 and also early learning centers like preschools, um, people can often ask us, do kindergartners have mental health issues? And it's kind of a two-part answer of, well, kindergartners are just small humans that are developing into adults and older humans who will experience different challenges and obstacles that might compromise their mental health. But also, I think it's really key that we're taking a preventative approach, and Fledge is more of an educational approach versus um, a direct intervention when someone is in crisis. And so we really honor and respect psychologists and counselors and those key intervention specialists that when something is going very wrong, they come in and they provide the support and guidance, hopefully in a helpful and constructive manner. But we want to have a little bit of influence to kind of decrease the rate of children getting to that point and giving them tools and skills so that maybe they don't have to experience hospitalization or a massive breakdown or dropping out of school because they just didn't have those foundational tools and skills. And yeah, there's a lot to it. Like there are a lot of different pieces to it, but predominantly we just want to try and reduce um, reduce the amount of children that are experiencing negative mental health outcomes later down the line.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And even when you think about who is impacted by COVID and the lockdowns, I mean, of course, older children were, but these kids, age 5, I mean, they grew up really in isolation,
Mhm,
a lot of these other kids, and they didn't learn some of the skills that you're going to be teaching them on
mhm.
this app, which I think is amazing. And so
Thank you.
I know before we go, people are going to want to know, like, what is on this app? Like you said,
Mhm.
Minecraft, mental health. That's very intriguing.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you'll be giving these kids through this app?
Yeah, well, I think it's really important to kind of let anyone who's listening know that everything on the platform is research backed and evidence based. So, we are running a longitudinal research study with the University of Calgary because it's very important for me to track and prove that our intervention is helping kids in a positive manner. And if we get to a point where it isn't, that's a big signal that we need to change something, but a lot of existing tools and resources don't have that tracking over time and they're not adjusting. They just have a resource and that's that. So we're really interested in seeing what the response is and how it impacts children, and are working with some pretty amazing professionals and individuals in the research community on that initiative. But we've also connected all of the activities to the new curriculum outcomes for the Alberta Physical Education and Wellness curriculum. And so teachers also experience burnout and challenges with mental health, and so do parents. When we were thinking about this application, we just wanted to do the heavy lifting so that we could provide a tool that gives parents and educators peace of mind that these resources have been verified and they're going to be helpful and they are fulfilling the curriculum outcomes. So teachers can pull a basic report and see which parts of the curriculum they've covered. It's very helpful. And then you can also have a look and see, how's my class performing? Do they have activities that resonate, or maybe some activities that they're not as responsive to? Is there an area that we need to focus on as a class? And so we have 3 types of activities on the platform: brain, body, and breathe. So, body and breathe are more the skill based activities. So, they're things like breathing exercises, movement breaks, um, little tidbits that can be repeated, and they're like the skills in your toolbox. And then brain are the more in-depth concepts that give children context around why they need the skills and how they can apply them. So brain are more so lessons about, what are emotions? How do I experience emotions? What's happening in my body? And they kind of build upon one another. The other thing we've done, Connie, is make these lessons between 10 to 15 minutes in length. And so you can stack them. And then there's prompts to dig into the concepts if you want. So we really recognize that parents and educators are the facilitators and the guides of this learning. And we want them to be as equally engaged in sharing this experience with the children. So, as the kids and the adults participate, it's designed to be very supportive and interactive, but also take that extra step of researching and digging through all of these different tools and trying to decide what's going to work. Um, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to let everyone who's listening know that this is something that I've gotten behind personally because I absolutely believe in this. And to be honest, when you shared with me initially what this was all about, I just thought, oh, we have been waiting for this. And so, if you're a school that works with me, a teacher that works with me, I just want you to know that this is something that I highly, highly recommend. And now you know why. Now you know why, because
You're the best.
it is
Thank you so
amazing. Well,
much.
it's so amazing, Jenna.
I
And
appreciate
and I
that.
and I do want to just share with the audience too that you're someone who I also believe in. And so it's not just an incredible product, but it's an incredible person who has dreamed this up with an incredible team. You have a beautiful team working with you. Lots of people getting behind this.
I'm very proud of our team and thank you so much. You've been one of my greatest supporters and you've egged me on ever since I've been starting out on this wild journey and I just appreciate you so much.
Oh, well, you know what? We can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And so if someone wanted to get to know this platform or learn a little bit more, what's the best way for them to find out more?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, you can head to our website because we've just released the ability for teachers and parents to create a free profile and try Fledge for free for 30 days. So it's as easy as going to fledge.health. And then in the right top corner, you'll see try Fledge. And you can click on that and it'll prompt you to just set up an account with your name and email and then you can experience what the platform is all about. And then for any schools or districts or educators who would like a little bit more information about the curriculum or to actually engage with our team and learn more about what's behind the product, we invite you to reach out. I'll share our contact information with Connie and yeah, we'll link it for you. If there's one thing we really want to emphasize, it's we would love your feedback and we're really trying to build this product so that it's meaningful and that it comes from our educators and our parents and the people who are actually using the tool and helping these kids on the front line. So please, any positive or constructive feedback, we would be super appreciative to hear from you.
Oh, that's amazing. And I love that people can try it. And so I'll be sure to put that link in the show notes so that people can access it easy. But I just want to in closing, just really again, just express my deep gratitude to you, Jenna, for thinking about how can you give, how can you help. I just think that that's incredible. And I really love what you shared about if you're struggling, maybe sometimes we need to get our own help like you did, but then think about how can we turn our eyes outward and see the world and become a part of it and maybe even become a part of the solution. And so I just want to encourage anyone who's listening, maybe that hit your heart. Maybe you heard that and thought to yourself, wow, I would love to start helping out. And so if that's you, maybe reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with Jenna, or we can get you in touch with
Absolutely.
lots of people who are doing really cool things. Because
Yes. There
yeah,
are so many amazing people in this city. And yes, I would be happy to connect with anyone who's trying to find their purpose or looking to just explore something different. So, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that's awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
Jenna, thanks for taking the time to be on the Brave podcast. And just want to encourage everyone out there to just keep being brave.